Good afternoon. We continue with our next briefing with up-to-date information on OSCE's SMM activity in Ukraine. Please welcome Deputy Chief Monitor of the mission, Alexander Haag.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your interest in the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission briefing here at the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center today. I would like to update you on the security situation in Ukraine as observed by our monitors over the past week when I last spoke to you here in this venue. I regret to report that over the past week the mission has seen a continuation of the same pattern as it has existed over the last few weeks, with the level of violence ebbing and flowing. Yesterday, the mission saw the aftermath of shelling on the 26th of May in the so-called DPR-controlled Horlivka. The mission saw 9 crater impacts in 3 different locations. In one location, the mission saw the body of a deceased woman lying close to 2 crater impacts, as well as a house that has sustained a direct hit. Our monitors went to the morgue and confirmed that 3 people died in that shelling. Unfortunately, the relative calm in Shirokine that followed the Trilateral Contact Group Security Working Group meeting in Minsk on 19th of May ended last weekend. After 2 quiet days on 22nd and 23rd May, intensive shelling resumed on the 24th of May, including heavy caliber mortar fire and other weapons. Only within 1 hour, we recorded over 100 explosions of incoming and outgoing mortar, anti-aircraft and heavy machine gun fire. Notably, the fighting was broken after what was said to have been a mine explosion that killed 4 so-called DPR members. Unfortunately, this incident shows how unpredictable any ceasefire arrangement can be when violence can resume after what might have been an accident. This also shows how important it is to de-escalate and clear the land of mines. It seems likely that the escalation in Shirokine following this landmine incident did not happen by deliberate design. The incident might prompt sides to build mechanisms to avoid a breakdown under similar circumstances in future. I also referenced the important forum for dialogue, namely the Security Working Group within the framework of the Trilateral Contact Group in Minsk. Fighting also continued in the other major hotspot, the destroyed Donetsk airport. It was the center of violence where the mission heard over 300 explosions caused by incoming and outgoing heavy weapons fire, including artillery and mortar, on 19th of May. The areas involved so-called DPR-controlled Donetsk airport, Spartak, the southern part of Donetsk city, and government-controlled Pisky and Opitne. Due to security concerns, the mission was not able to directly confirm reports of the shelling of Ukraine's largest chemical plant in government-controlled Avdiivka. However, we did receive confirmation from the manager of the plant that sustained artillery fire started on 21st of May and lasted over a few days. The attack allegedly killed one worker and injured two. This is a new and alarming development. The plant has a huge economic value. Steel plants in Mariupol that employ a significant proportion of the local population depend on the output of this plant. Damage caused by this attack could impact long after the fighting ends. As well, due to security concerns, the mission was restrained in monitoring Shirokine as well as Avdiivka, as I just said, over the past few days, as the area that I just described was highly kinetic. Meanwhile, the Luhansk region remained relatively calm. The mission recorded mostly sporadic violence, in particular in the government-controlled towns of Stanica Luhanska and Shastia, and a few villages along the contact line northwest of Luhansk city. Also, the mission observed continued building of fortifications in numerous locations in both the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. These works reflect fear of an escalation in violence expressed by many interlocutors of the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission. The mission continued to observe the humanitarian situation. Freedom of movement of civilians remains a concern. Long queues are being observed regularly at checkpoints, and transit of goods and civilians are getting more difficult. The OSCE Special Monitoring Mission observed 100 civilian vehicles and 500 people on government-controlled and about 300 people on the so-called LPR-controlled side of the Stanica Luhanska bridge. The crucial crossing there has been inaccessible for many civilians over the past few days. The mission is aware of the human toll this is causing and is monitoring this situation closely. Also, since I last spoke to you, the mission revisited heavy weapons holding areas and recorded missing items on both sides. Despite claims that the withdrawal of heavy weapon has been completed, the OSCE Special Monitoring Mission observed its movement or presence in areas in violation of the Minsk withdrawal lines on both sides. Finally, an update on our mission strength. This week we have 5 additional new monitors. That makes now 471 monitors altogether. With other international and national staff, we have 754 individuals working for this mission, originating from 42 participating states of the OSCE in total. This was my briefing for today, and I'm available to questions if you have those. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hogg. Колеги, чи є питання, можливо, уточнення? Питань то точно немає.
And there are no questions or specifications. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. See you. Goodbye.